without fail, every single year, there is a question on the ECA that actually is based upon a genre that I call knowing the term and understanding the text, or understanding the text and knowing the term. To me, then, what you've got to look at is you've got to have read the article. If you don't read the article, you don't stand a chance on it. So understanding the text is one of the first things that you got to do. But the second part is that you have to, with your English teacher, you have to know the term that it's referring to. So I'm looking at question number 1 as our example here. It says read the text, and then it always gives you like an example from the text. All right? So then, what they'll do is they'll ask you a question. This could best be described as, and then you've got to know what this is, and this is. What makes this particular question both easy and difficult at the same time is that if you don't know the term, it's very difficult. If you do know the terms, you don't even have to have read the whole article. You just need to read the excerpt. So if you know that a simile is a comparison of two things using like or as, you will already know that that can't be the correct answer because there's no comparison of two unlike things using like or as. A metaphor then is just a generic comparison of two unlike things. And when I look at this sentence, I'm like, the spring of 1993 was the Halley's Comet of desert wildflower years. Well, what we have here is, here's the spring of 1993. We have Halley's Comet. We have a comparison of two unlike things. There's no like or as. The correct answer is automatically B. But what you got to also know then is, and this is why I want you to read all 4 answers, because one of them might be true, but one of them might be better. Personification means to give human characteristics to non-human things, okay? And I don't have time to write all that out, but you should know this if you're in a basic English class. Last but not least, the term that you need to be familiar with is, there's a rhetorical pattern called cause-effect, where like they give the underlying causes, and then the next thing that they say is, as a result of those things, then that's a rhetorical strategy that you need to be familiar with. So in order to be successful on a question like this, not only do you need to understand the text, you also need to know all the terms and the possible answers. There's another question on this test that looks exactly like it. In paragraph which begins with line through blah, 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 blah. Well, you would have had to have read that whole thing, so that's the understanding the text part. Then the next thing you need to know is you got to know the term. Well, contrasting is to show the differences between things. An extended simile is a comparison of two unlike things using like or as. And notice too, this takes place over many lines. Process analysis is a rhetorical strategy where we show step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4, a process for things. And we've already gone over cause effect. Now, for those of you at home that don't know the article that we're reading, that's all right. But if you guys in my classroom that are listening to this and you read lines 50 through all the end of that paragraph, the correct answer for this one is it's an extended simile, because when you read that sentence, they'll be like, the way in which the answers to these questions is like the way a symphony orchestra works, and how the music is played by this part, and the music is played by this part. And the whole paragraph is a big simile. They said like and as a whole bunch of times, and they used musicians as part of it. So, but once again, you've got to know the term, and you have to understand the text. So you've got to have read that paragraph in order to get that question correct. And without fail, every year there's always a know the term, understand the text, or understand the text, know the term type of deal on there.